Okay. And I actually have y'all on speaker. Maybe we can play around with Zoom next week and see if and it'll still be loud enough for us to show. So we'll figure it out.
All right. I'm live.
I did. This is Marie.
Hey, Marie.
What's going on, Rita? Hey, Marie. Hey, everybody. Trying to get on the daggone computer. Mad I paid attention when it came about in my 12th grade year in high school. I thought it was a fad. Okay, so I'm live, and I can't mute y'all, so give me like three minutes to just kind of like introduce us, and then we can go with the flow.
Okay.
So I actually have y'all on speaker, so it's not like a music. All right, y'all ready?
Always.
Yep. What's going on? Okay, so you have tuned in to another episode of On the Music Unscripted on purpose. You know how Thursdays we're on purpose. So we're trying something new, different. We try out Freaker.com and see how that works for us. I don't know, but we're going to figure it out. So anyway, I got my ladies, as always. What's going on, ladies?
What's going on, beloved?
Hey. So, I was gonna, you know how we all like to I always like to find out how everybody's day is going. So I'm gonna go one by one and just find out tell me how your day has been, or tell us how your day has been, how your week has been, and name at least one thing you're grateful for and one challenge that you overcame. So we'll start with Misty. We'll start with you, Misty. Misty, name one thing. Tell us how your week has been, and then name one thing you're grateful for, and one thing that either you overcame, or that you're trying to overcome, or that has just entered your atmosphere, and you need help overcome.
My week was actually great. I'm grateful to have got out the house today. Lord Jesus, God knows, honey, I've been in this house with this baby for like a couple months now. It seemed like it's forever. Baby, listen, I'm grateful that I got out the house today. And something that that I'm trying to overcome, Well, I don't know if this is like similar to the question, but I'm used to being in my own apartment where I can have some quietness, so I'm trying to overcome that to be able to get in my own apartment whenever the government decide they want to open back up or whatever, so I can have my peace and quiet and you know, that quietness, that stillness, the peace be still.
I can dig that.
Yeah. I'm trying to overcome that. I need some peace, honey. I need to get away.
Dig it.
Cows gonna say, get away.
Dig it. I can dig
For
it.
real, other than that, I'm fine.
I can dig that.
All right, so okay, that's awesome, Misty. All right, so Kim, you're next. Tell us how your week has been, and same thing as Misty.
Okay, well, my week has been a bit challenging, but productive nonetheless. I have learned to build my own websites, and with that, I've made a post for people that want to get a website built. That I'm about to be open for business for that, just because I learned it for myself. So that's going to be another trade. So that was a little bit challenging, and then having to once again deal with some realities of my own self, my own flaws or whatnot. That's been challenging as well, having to accept the truth of me. But that's also been a powerful thing, being allowed to be corrected, like we talked about before, being able to be corrected and hear some things that you may not necessarily want to hear or even be ready to deal with at the time. but I've been able to take it in, and I've actually had a feelings moment. Dig that. So I had had to get rid of them real quick, but process the information. So it's been okay. So that's been the challenge. It's been like a double challenge. But those are also things I've been grateful for. Like I said, is being able to receive the information, process it accordingly, and apply it so it will cause my growth to continue. In every aspect, I can see things differently. Right now, and the things that I'm looking to obtain are getting closer just because of it. So I know by the end of this month, it's going to be a major change by the end of this month, just because, and I feel that intensely. So I'm grateful for that. Did I answer all of the questions? I think that was it, right?
So the challenge for you was trying to do that website?
It was the website, and then having to deal with more truth of me. That was probably the biggest. Okay. That was the biggest challenge. Try not to block out the truth, because it don't always feel good or sound good. But if it is what it is, and it is what it is, so having to accept that.
It kind of sounds like you spend a lot of time looking in the mirror.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Seeing who you are.
I got 4 mirrors.
Sounds like you're doing a lot.
At minimum, I got 4 mirrors. Trust that.
Okay. So, all right, Maria, your turn. So tell us how your week has been, something that you're blessed about, and a challenge that you either overcame, or you're working to overcome, or you need help to overcome.
Well, my week actually has been pretty decent. Normally, since I do home health nursing, I'm normally stuck up in traffic or a lot of construction. And the construction is a little slow due to COVID. The traffic has been absolutely beautiful due to COVID. So my challenge is, I feel bad for everyone who's at home, but take it as a vacation. And this too shall pass. Sooner than later, you will be back at work. Oh, believe me. But the only challenge that I had is that a lot of places that I've gone, especially within the inner city, I'm noticing that a lot of people are not gloving or masking up. And they were saying last week, not easy to jump on the COVID, but they were saying that there were more Black people dying, and I'm like, oh, how are they going to sit up there and make it racial? But I don't even think it's the government making it racial. When I'm seeing predominantly a lot of Black people in certain areas is just not wearing it. I went into Walmart this week, and although it was not crowded, but only a fourth, maybe a third, had either gloves or masks, and less than a fourth had both. So that's the only challenge. I mean, we're not over the hump, people. So please, 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 still be safe. Safety. I went to the customer service, and of course, they have the line right there. Somebody was like dead. I can hear them breathing in my ear. I'm like, hey, you're gonna need to back up for social distancing and just for privacy. It's just that's the only issue. But besides that, it's been a blessed week. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to God.
Okay.
And that's it. That's okay.
Okay, so for me, the week has been, the blessing is, for the first time in probably about, I don't know, maybe some years. I don't know how long it's been some years, or quite a few years. I'm actually in a relationship. God knows it's been a very, very, very long time. And not only am I in a relationship, but now I have my partner here, kind of like side by side with her. So that's pretty cool. That's different. Learning to be in a relationship again is different for me. So that's cool.
What makes it different? I'm sorry. What makes it different? What makes it different?
I haven't had that. I don't know. It's like I have not been in a relationship in probably about A real relationship. I ain't talking about no chicken buddies. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about a real, like I'm claiming you. Like you claiming me type thing. I haven't had that in probably about 10 or 12 years, so it's like I almost don't know what to do. I'm like, I'm probably like, you got to tell me how to be in this relationship thing. I don't know. It's different. That's the difference. Just learning how to be considerate of somebody else's feelings and just trying to figure out how to work together as a true team on a romantic level. I've always been in team type situations with men on a non-romantic level, but to be on a romantic, I've never been romantic with somebody I work with. So it's different. It's different. But it's fun. And the second is my son is here. I was worried about my son being in Atlanta with all this going on with the virus and not really having a lot of families there, but he's here. And so that's a blessing having all my only one that's missing now is my husband. That's a blessing. The challenge is I've been super emotional this week and I don't freaking know why. Like every time I turn on I looked at turn on a movie or something, I'm crying. Like I just looked at what's the one Madam Walker, and I don't know why. Every time she went through a non-song, I started crying like the hell I was really there. Like, oh God, I'm so girl.
Okay.
I've been super emotional. I don't know why.
That's all right. I said that's all right.
You said what?
That's all right.
I have been. You're different. I think because you're out of balance. You're out of balance from your everyday you. You know, you used to being on the movies. I mean, now you have actually enough time to actually sit down and just embrace the full you. And you're doing that in this new wonderful relationship. You are now, close. Y'all doing some love claiming. And it's a beautiful thing. So, I don't know. I mean, a lot of that can cause anxiety. And anxiety could be a number of things. Emotions is high on anxiety. So, the smallest things are more sentimental.
I don't know. I ain't in no relationship or nothing, but I've been not sentimental too. I'm looking at stuff and just crying and praying like, oh my God, like, why am I mean, which I already know that, from getting answers from a long time ago, because I always cried when I was younger, that you're not only crying for yourself, but crying for someone else as well.
Yeah, like when I had the show with We Love last week, right? Or Monday. Well, not last week, Monday. And
that was sad, though.
Yeah, when he was talking about the graveyard that they are building, and they just basically, it's like a big giant graveyard. It's just like dumping bodies in there, and it made me cry. Like I was really hurt. Like I hadn't even heard that before he said it, but when he said it, it was like I felt all the family pain, and I just felt so sad and so like wish I could do something. And really, I didn't take a break because I really was starting to cry. Like it's been like that for me.
Yeah, I actually seen the grave site and all the bodies they was dumping in there. And I mean, it's just really sad. That was sad, Like I said, you crying out for everybody else, as well. Not only for yourself, but for others as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, the guy here all cries, and he catches all tears, so.
I mean, because we're used to seeing a proper burial. We're used to seeing a proper goodbye. I mean, and with those unfortunate victims of this horrible disease or virus that's going around, I mean, loved ones can't even spend their last moments with people. Women are having babies without the fathers being present. Everything is so impersonal, and it's sad to watch. It's very sad to stomach. But just to zip a body up and throw it on top of another body on top, that's horrible. I saw when they were putting the bodies inside of a semi-truck because they didn't, they would cut down on the spread of infection. But I'm like, that could have been my mom, my dad, my sister, anybody, it's hard to see when somebody comes towards the end of their life. It's so to be alone like that.
Right.
And if everybody runs to the side like they're cattle, that's horrible. It's absolutely
right.
Horrible.
Yeah, it just, I think it just had me just like wishing that I could just go and hug, want to do something, just, and it really took me on this whole thing of saying to people, reach out and help people. If you're working and you're able to give money, then give money to the different organizations, or even if it's a friend next door that you know is struggling, or whatever. Because the only way I feel like the only way we're going to get through this is if we join together. And
right,
we pull together. Yeah, that's how I feel. So that was my week. It's been a happy week because, for me, like I said, being in a relationship is new for me, and he makes me smile. Our personality is so similar. I enjoy being around him. It makes me smile. So that's the cool thing. But telling myself, okay, don't mess this up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Patricia, you ain't never told us who it is. Is it Mr. Stout?
Yeah, that's my boo bear.
Okay. Because I thought I heard you call him Boo Bear. I thought I heard that. Patricia done found some web, girl.
Now, I can get real silly, right? I ain't sleepy yet, though, but I can get real silly. He actually made I said he made his way to Columbus, so we decided to do the darn thing, We've known.
Okay, I thought he was already in Columbus.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Mister. It's better to be beautiful when the man can put a smile on your face from many, many miles away, isn't it?
Right.
I said it's got to be a beautiful feeling when a man can put a smile on your face, not be nowhere in sight, a million miles away, but he's thinking about you. That's pretty cool.
He's a good person. When you meet somebody that's a good person, they're a humble person, it ain't all about them. They really care about somebody else. And he's a man of his word. He's a man of his word. So I'm like, okay. But he's always been cool. Like, we've always been friends. We just decided to take it to the next level. And I'm enjoying this new journey into school. But if I act goofy, y'all understand why. All right. So, talking about our kids, our family, whatever. So I figured since the ladies can't stand for me to go on long 4-hour breaks, I figured I'll play a song and come right back.
Correct.
Hey, with that, I'm playing that song and come right back. I'll do it like that. I'll play a song, come back, take a break.
Yeah.
Let me get mad at me, y'all.
Okay.
And we gonna be right there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so that's gonna be a little bit loud.
It's actually muted.
Let me see if I can mute.
We're not on the air, right? We're on break.
No,
you sure we ain't on air?
Y'all are live though, so you might want to. I don't know what you're doing because I'm live.
Oh, you said you're still live. Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, I'm still live. So you might want to back away. Exactly. Exactly. So you might want to hold up on your conversation for a minute. So I'm just gonna let my viewers know what we're talking about this evening. I'm just gonna let them know what we're talking about. Again, you all are live with us on the move, unscripted, on purpose, and tonight we are discussing children for the most part. Like, what is the absolute like how? Tell us again, Patricia. Like, what is the detailed description of what we're talking about?
Like,
are you able to accept your children for who they are and not try to compare them or get them to be who you think they should be by looking at somebody else, or comparing them to somebody else's children? Like, are you able to accept your children for who they are? That's basically like a lot of times, like, we want our kids. Why can't you be smart like your brother?
Right.
How come you can't like your brother? You see the little girl down here, she's on honor roll. Why you can't be like her? Doing that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. All right. So y'all heard it live right out of Miss Patricia M. Goins' mouth. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to share them. You can share them either live right here on Facebook or on YouTube, or if you want to call in. I'm sure there's a call-in number that we can give you, and you all can share your information on the air as well. So make sure you stick around. We just got one song playing, right? And then we gonna be right back live. Don't go. Just trying to keep the folks engaged. You know how we do.
The phone number, you can call in to be a part of the show. We're trying something different, y'all, because I'm so sick of love talk radio. As soon as we get into a good conversation, if they don't like it, they be cutting us off. I cannot stand that. It's too much of that. It's driving me crazy. I'm like, I got to find another way.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so the call in if you want to be a part of the conversation is 617-829-6125.
Say it again, please.
617-629-6125. That's the call in.
Okay.
617-829-6125.
All righty.
Did y'all get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody get it? Yeah. I thought talking about our kids would be a good thing because one of my kids, and I guess we can talk about it more when we go live, but one of my kids, somebody was saying that we can stand in our children is who we are. So it's like looking in the mirror and we cannot stand that part of ourselves.
Right.
Like, why do you do that? And then somebody looks at you like, would you do that? Or you make your parents say something like, well, you used to do that. And you're like, no. Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people tell their kids how they need to be and try to make it seem like that's how they would have been had they listened to their parents. Like you don't want your the children to know who you are. You want them to know in your mind, who you are. Right. But children covet what they feed us, so they're going to pick up some. Then some are just natural genetics. Like, wow, didn't know you was athletic like me, or something like that. This is natural genetics.
When this song goes off, we're gonna come back on.
Okay.
I can't see y'all. I didn't know the song gets so on. So, I said I can't see anybody.
You can't see anybody?
No.
Ain't nobody there. No, nobody's there.
Into another episode of On the Move, Unscripted, On Purpose. And we're now on iHeartRadio, so you can go to iHeartRadio and look up On the Move, Unscripted, On Purpose. To look at, we have different shows. I have different shows, so I have different co-hosts. On Mondays, it's me and it's Medium View out of Columbus, Ohio. And then on Tuesday, it's me and my radio hubby /Blueberry/. Anyway, we do interviews on Tuesday. And then, of course, it's the ladies where we keep it real, keep it raw, old shows. So, anyway, we are back in the house.
In the house.
And so, as Tim was saying during break, we want to talk about our children, and just, we all, when we get pregnant and we get ready to have our babies, we always have these visions of how our children will be, and and this, that, and the other. And then sometimes when they don't, as they grow up and they don't meet our expectations, we get to feel a certain kind of way with that person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's right.
It's definitely not right, but it becomes natural because as we get older and become parents, there is a sense of gaining control or having control that we didn't as children. So we tend to usurp that on our own children and want to push them into doing and being what we were pushed into doing and being, and we may have rebelled against it. So, I mean, it's definitely not the right thing to do, but it is the thing that we've been taught and conditioned to do because it was done to us. You know, we tend to push our children into doing things that we either wanted to do or things that our parents pushed us into. So it's like basically repeating a cycle without paying attention, you know, without really paying attention to the child as an individual, who they are, who they're developing to be, what information do they have that they're processing that's going to basically mold them. We're force feeding them information, and usually it's not even accurate information or complete information, but we're force feeding them what we've been given and expecting them to live beyond, you know, or that we have a higher expectation on them, and it tends to be a little unreasonable because they're not equipped to even do what we're expecting them to do because we didn't give them that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. How do you feel about it, Marie?
Well, I mean, I was raised that your parents want you to do better than what they did, but that your parents try to lay out a great path for you to follow. And, you know, I've watched my parents with the struggle, you know, and I've watched them, you know,